Hello, I'm Jim Demlin with Clark Vancouver Television. Thank you for meeting with us.
Of course, thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Absolutely. So I was born in Kansas, but actually grew up in the Portland area from about age 2 till college. I graduated at David Douglas High School and then Concordia University in Portland. After graduating, I went to Ohio University and earned my master's in history. From there, went back to Kansas and worked for the Army as a civilian on a contract there at Fort Leavenworth for a couple of years, working as a historian. So I actually was one of the few people that got a history degree and then got to use it in the field. In 2009, my wife and I moved back to the Northwest and settled in Clark County for all the many reasons that people do. Just beautiful area, great schools. We lived in Battleground for a while and then bought our current home in East Vancouver. So I got into real estate around that same time, and I saw that as an opportunity to get involved with the community, be out there meeting people, making an impact. So I got involved with several nonprofit groups, also through the Realtors Government Affairs Committee at the local and state level. I went through Leadership Clark County in 2014, and that is just a phenomenal program. It's a real asset to our community. Learned a lot about the community and how things work, but also met some just really incredible people, and that's a big part of what led me to decide to run.
Okay. Because you're also County Planning Commission, and so then you decided ultimately to run for County Councilor.
Yeah, I spent 3 years on the Planning Commission, and that was really good, I think, experience in kind of how things get done at the county. You go through a very similar process to what the county councilors do, where you have a work session on a particular topic, then you have some time to really dig into the details and figure out what are the implications of whatever the proposed policy might be, and then working through a hearing. It's kind of an unnatural way to try and make decisions, sitting in a hearing and very formal, and so it takes some, I think, getting used to be effective as a leader and as an advocate for citizens in that format. So I think the Planning Commission was very helpful in preparing for that.
Good. This is kind of an awkward question, but how would you describe your leadership style?
I think in the work that I've done with nonprofit groups, and I was president of the Clark County Association of Realtors, in those kind of environments, I would say primarily collaborative and trying to work towards consensus. In those groups, it's all volunteer organizations. You want everyone to feel like they have a stake, like they're vested in it, and like they weren't run over during the process. I think I bring that same style. My goal is to bring that same style to the council. I think one of the differences is going to be, though, when it comes down to the vote, we're not going to end up on all 5-0 votes. So whereas, with nonprofits, you continue to work on something until you get consensus with, not just a majority, but 80% of people there. We're going to have some 3-2 votes on the council as we get into some of the tougher issues. So I think still bringing those same principles of trying to work together, work collaboratively, look for areas where we can all meet and agree, but then when it comes time to cast that vote, representing the citizens, making the best judgment call for what I think is best for that situation, taking in mind citizen feedback, what staff's recommendation, trying to balance all of those things and come to the best possible decision for the people of Clark County.
Okay. So how have you been transitioning in your role?
It's been a lot of fun. It has been, the expression drinking from a fire hose has come up quite a bit. I had a pretty good idea of, I think, a lot of what the county did, but it's just been incredible as we go through both Commissioner Quirin and I orientation with every department, planning, public works, health, parks, the sheriff, the jail, the court system. There's things that, there's just so much complexity and so much depth to what the county does. It's been fun, but it's been a little overwhelming at times. Lots of extra reading and a lot of late nights catching up on what the business of the county is.
Now, is there a preference how people can contact you?
I really want to be as accessible as possible. So however people are most comfortable. My email, you can access that through the county's website. Like everyone at the county, it's just my first name, dot last name, so john.blum@clark.wa.gov. My county cell phone number is up on the website. It's a new phone, so I don't know that number yet. But you can go on the website and find that there. And my campaign page is still up on social media. I still have people that will send me messages through there. So I want to be as accessible as possible. So however people want to get in touch with me, whatever's comfortable for them, that's fine with me.
Okay. So what will be your priority over the next few months?
So I think in the short term, there's some really good things happening in the legislature that Clark County is advocating for. One of the biggest priorities for me, something I talked about last year as I was running, was trying to get funding for a mental health triage center. Clark County is one of the only county, actually it is the only county in the state that's part of the early adopter program. And what that does is it integrates within the Medicaid system primary care and mental health care. Everyone had the opportunity to do this. Everyone else backed out except for Clark County. So we're really leading the way in doing that. Taking the idea that we're going to provide better care for the people that need these services, but also by integrating and by having the primary care doctor be in contact with the mental health care provider, are actually going to get better service as well as get better value. So one of the needs that going through that process has revealed is for this mental health triage center. It was a great collaborative effort to kind of come up with the concept through some advocacy groups like NAMI, working with some of the service providers in Clark County, and then also with the county itself. So we have a proposal to build a triage center that would basically, when someone's in mental health crisis right now, they're frequently ending up either in jail, in some kind of interaction with law enforcement, or they're ending up in the ER. In those places, they're not getting the help that they need, and that also is a tremendous cost to the taxpayers. So if we can have an alternative that's going to be getting people the help that they need, but also doing it in a way that's more cost effective, that's going to be really great for our community in the long run. But it takes that upfront capital investment to get that done. So we have some great advocates from our legislators up there. Senator Rivers is working on that, Representative Harris, as well as many of the other representatives there. So that's a big priority. Transportation, I think we're going to see, I'm hoping that we may see some funding for the widening of SR 14 between I-205 and 164th. That's something that I think would be really beneficial in my area of the county. We've seen just such tremendous job growth in the 164th, 192nd corridors. Fortunately, we're very blessed to have the Port of Camas and Washougal also on board with that. They've actually been kind of spearheading that for the last few months. They're trying to get that money just to improve, alleviate some of the congestion, improve freight mobility, things going out to East Vancouver, whether that's out to the port in Camas, Washougal, or to any of the businesses that are coming up in that tech center area.
Okay. Now, what about longer term goals?
Longer term, yeah, I think land use is going to be something that's going to be really important for the next few years. We had a hearing last week, February. What day was that? The 7th or the 8th, on a review of the comprehensive plan through the Growth Hearings Board. And they will make their decision March 23rd about what elements of our comprehensive plan we may need to revisit. That includes the Rural Industrial Land Bank. So that creates both potential challenges of having to fix some things that they say might not be quite right, but it also creates opportunity to look at some of the shortcomings that maybe have been revealed in the most recent comprehensive plan. How do we strike a better balance of use in the rural areas, balancing the need to provide the infrastructure that's needed for growth out there. We've heard a lot in the last couple of weeks from agricultural advocates and people that would like to see some kind of agricultural commission to look at how do we preserve the viability of farming in Clark County. That's something that I'm hoping to see happen. We have our board retreat February 16th and 17th, and I think that idea of an agricultural commission will be discussed there. But then also looking at how can we provide some more diverse ways for living in the rural areas, whether that's accessory dwelling units within the rural areas, whether that's looking for smart ways to allow some lots to be divided into smaller lots. One thing that we might look at to help accommodate a couple of those goals would be something like a transfer of development rights, where if someone could divide their land but wants to preserve it in farming, wants to keep it at 20 or 40 acres, a lot of times there's costs that makes it really difficult, whether it's land acquisition or just the capital startup to run a small farm is a challenge. With a transfer of development rights, they would be able to sell that ability to develop to someone else that maybe has 5 acres, currently under the code couldn't divide, but would like to be able to get a couple of 1-acre lots so their kids can live close, or they can live on a smaller amount of land as they near retirement and then sell off the larger parcel. So there may be some options there that can address a lot of what was heard both in the Planning Commission and by the board during the comp plan process, of people who want to be able to live and experience that rural part of Clark County, which is part of what makes it such a wonderful place to live. But also people that want to preserve those larger tracts so we can have viable long-term farming and agriculture.
Great. Now, I'm sure you've been very busy, but how do you enjoy spending your free time?
My wife and I are both really active. So we've done a lot of 5Ks and 10Ks. Our challenge for this year, we decided we wanted to take it up a little bit. So we're doing a couple of Spartan races this year.
Oh, wow.
So middle of March, we are going down to Las Vegas. There's a race in Arizona the third weekend of March. So 10-mile race, 25, 30 obstacles, everything from going under barbed wire to climbing over 8-foot walls to carrying sandbags for a quarter mile. So a lot of fun stuff. So training for that has been, the free time that I get, I've been doing a lot of training for that.
Wow. That'll make board hearings seem like a breeze. Yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to share with viewers?
No, I would just encourage people, we talked about it earlier, my goal is to be as accessible to the citizens as possible, so please reach out through the county's website.
Which is clark.wa.gov.
Clark.wa.gov, absolutely, and there is a link on there to get to the counselors. You can send a message directly to myself or to all the counselors. Let us know what issues you see out there that you would like to see us take a look at. That's probably the biggest thing I'd like to share. Is just we don't know about all the problems that are out there unless someone shares it. So come, have dialogue. We're not going to be able to fix everything. There are limits to what we can do, but definitely want to have those conversations and see what can we do to encourage job growth, make Clark County a better place to live for everyone.
Great. And the counselor's telephone number, 397-2232, and then they could also transfer you.
Absolutely, yeah. And our admin can put it through my cell phone or put it through voicemail. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much for meeting with us, and good luck with these next 4 years.
Thank you so much.